fly, Eagles fly on a road to victory, and we're going to bounce back. We're going to get back to victory. You know what I'm saying? It was very, very close, and we'll get into it in this video. I'm Platinum Eagle. Thanks for watching Platinum Eagle Podcast, and let's get right into it. So, this game was crazy, man. It was like everything seemed to have went the way of Washington. It didn't seem like that at first. It seemed like it was about to be a body until Hurts got in. He only played 11 snaps, and he played a pretty good 11 snaps. It was unfortunate to see our quarterback number one go out of the game because he is instrumental. I keep telling people he is instrumental to us, the Philadelphia Eagles, having success. I mean, since he got here. Let's talk about it. Man, it was terrible to see Jalen Hurts go out with a concussion. This hit, you can argue, was a pretty dirty hit. I didn't really say that myself, but it was still unnecessary. I seen Les get flagged for a hit to the helmet, leading in with the helmet. And of course, he was already down, so it really was no need to hit him after he was already down. I know he didn't slide, and he probably should have slid, but still, he shouldn't have got hit after he had slid. Either he didn't slide. If he slid, it probably would have been called. It probably would have been called, but who knows? With the referees, it probably wouldn't have been called. As you already know, Carson Wentz going out with a concussion. That same referee was the same referee that said that it was a clean hit, never got fined that year. But I digress. Jalen Hurts going out in this game was huge for the other team because, again, he started going and moving the ball really effectively on 2 straight drives. Jalen Hurts played really good football. I mean, yeah, he ran out of the pocket sometimes. The design runs, that's why I'm not a big fan of the design runs by the quarterback, because that leaves your quarterback in harm's way every single time. You know, it's different when he goes and take it upon himself to tuck the ball and run. I don't always like the fact that he tucked the ball and run either, but the thing that's different when you tuck the ball and run up the field, you can actually get rid of the ball, you can throw the ball away, or you can go out of bounds if you're able to get out of bounds. More likely you're able to get out of bounds if you do it like that versus running up the middle and you're still in the middle of the field, leaving yourself susceptible, as we already seen here in Jalen Hurts getting hit while going down. He declared himself down, but he didn't slide. He actually dived. So that was the difference in that right there. Yeah, I seen Les get called for helmet to helmet or leading with your helmet by the officials, but the officiating, we're going to talk about them as well. We always got to talk about them as well. And it's a stat that y'all probably didn't know. The Eagles are the team that's less likely, among all 32 teams, they're less likely to get the favorable penalties called in our way. We're dead last in that category. And that's crazy, man, when you think about it. But that tells you everything that I'm saying is true. I don't have no time to really want to talk about the referees. I really don't. The game should be played as clean as possible without referees. And as you already seen, the referees in this game, it's a lopsided affair in what the referees call against us versus what they call in the opponents. And this is not just unique to this game right here. This is what happens every single week, just about. Yeah, every once in a while we might have a time where we can say, well, yeah, the referees, they didn't do that bad or whatever. I said that last week, but after reevaluating the game, they did us pretty dirty last week as well. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? Probably wasn't as bad as the previous weeks, but it has been bad, and it's just getting worse. And hopefully these guys get suspended like the last team did, and it just didn't seem like it resonated as much because they're still doing business as usual, shitting on the Philadelphia Eagles while giving the other teams a pass. And the referee, the referee here, he comes from the Michigan area. So this guy here, I think he actually goes for Detroit. I'm not saying that he does or doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But I do know for sure, I was arguing with my brother-in-law, who's a Cowboys fan, about, how the referees are whack and how they pretty much go against the Philadelphia Eagles. See, he don't watch Philadelphia Eagles games. So in my opinion, he has no merit to even talk about, no room to even talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the referees against the Philadelphia Eagles, because he don't watch the Philadelphia Eagles games. He just watched Cowboys games for the most part. So when it comes to that right there, I watch all the games. I love football. I'm gonna watch everybody's game if I can. If I have the time to, I'm watching everybody's game. I would actually watch everybody's full-time game, but I'm not retired. If I was retired, I'd probably have more time to do that. But instead, I'll watch the highlights of the games to see what teams look like against each other, and pretty much base that on how I pick my players, or teams rather, to win against other teams, as far as, week-to-week basis of who I think will win or lose the game and why I think they will win or lose the games. Last week, speaking of which, I got quite a bit wrong. Like I think I got 5 teams wrong. 2 of them I pretty much know in my heart that, you know, they will probably lose. You got to keep in mind, upsets do happen in the NFL. So, in fact, I will say that the game we lost was an upset, and we already know why. And it's funny how the Commanders fans is acting like, and the media, but y'all don't listen to the national media. I only get my national media news from other Philadelphia Eagles podcasters who talk about what they said. So that's pretty much how I know about them. I don't usually click on those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Those dudes don't like us. They never did like us. So I wouldn't watch the ops pretty much, you know what I'm saying, to see, you know, what their take is about the Philadelphia Eagles. Like I said before in the last video, unless I want to see them eat crow, if you will. I got other words to say, but we'll just keep it at eat crow, you know what I mean, by what they said before and how it turned out for them in the long run. Now we get into Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett had to come in for Jalen Hurts after the concussion. Jalen Hurts was looking like he was about to get back in the game. They had him on the sideline. He even put his helmet back on, but it wasn't to be for Jalen Hurts to get back in the game and finish the game. Hopefully he come back in this week, but since we got Pickett as our number 2, then we'll talk about what he did. And in my opinion, Pickett did just enough to win the game. He was not the reason why we lost the game. It's more of the drop balls, if I'm being honest. The drop balls by, you know, our wide receivers and running back. It was just, it's just crazy, man. Usually, especially DeVonta Smith, 10 times out of 10, usually he catch that ball. And that was an easy one for him. He usually catch that ball, but in this case, he didn't. We already know A.J. Brown ended up having 2 drop balls, which is very uncharacteristic of him as well. Saquon Barkley, he ended up dropping a crucial ball, too, that definitely could have put points. 5 times we got the ball from him, and they turned the ball over. We end up getting only 6 points out of it. And we already know if Jalen Hurts was in the ball game, it would have been way more than 6 points. And if I'm being honest, we really wouldn't even be having the same conversation. So I'm going to give them kudos. They played a major game. They played a good game. They knew what to do when a number 1 quarterback was out. And we'll talk about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson going out as well. And I think that helped them out quite a bit. And the stats don't lie. People do, as I always say. So we'll get into Kenny Pickett, like I said. Kenny Pickett, he had a pretty good game. I mean, you know, he wasn't great. He wasn't Jalen Hurts, but he was on time. Sometimes the balls was thrown just a little bit too high. So in those situations, you know, what can you do? You know what I mean? The ball thrown high when Hurts throw the ball sometimes. The ball thrown high sometimes when even Mahomes throw the ball sometimes. It happens. But the balls seemed like they sailed a little bit. You know, it seemed like they were pretty much in slow motion. So they were easier to catch for the wide receivers and the ball catchers. But sometimes it didn't give them too much room to run after the catch. But A.J. Brown, however, he caught some stride and he found a way to take advantage and get some extra yards after the catch. So, you know, kudos to him. I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. If there's some reason to beat him up and badger him a little bit because of, you know, this here game, you know, I would, and I wouldn't like to, but I'll keep it 100% honest with y'all. I keep it 100% funky with y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I do. Platinum Eagle, you know, I just tell it like it is. Y'all want to hear it? So I just tell it like it is. You know what I mean? You feel me? But in that first drive, Saquon Barkley had a nice run up the sideline, you know, up the sideline on the left side for a 69-yard run, I believe it was. It was an amazing run. He had the nice blockers out in his way in front of him. The blockers did what they had to do. He really didn't have much to do except get in the end zone, and that he did. So, like I said, I think the Commanders, if we play them again, if we face them again, then I think I don't think I can. You know, I'm not a betting man, and I'm not willing to bet this game because I'm not a betting man. But I will bet that the Philadelphia Eagles win, and I'm very, very confident in how we would actually fare against those guys with us at full strength and them at full strength even. You know, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, they was missing one of their pass rushers, Allen, but I don't think it'll make much of a difference. And speaking of which, and we'll talk about it a little bit, their defense was all over our guy, you know what I'm saying, Saquon Barkley, and he was all over Kenny Pickett as well, if I'm being honest. I mean, after Jalen Hurts went out, it was pretty much no threat of Jalen Hurts keeping the ball. Kenny Pickett, however, did run the ball when he did keep the ball and run the ball very effectively. I have nothing but good things to say about Kenny Pickett. Again, do I think he's going to be the guy we need going forward? Can he win us a game? That's yet to be seen. I think if I'm asking myself, though, I think we can beat the Dallas Cowboys this week. And, you know, they had a really good game against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers kind of like laid down for them. I wish they'd have played us like that, but they laid down for them. Yeah, you just can't. It's go figure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Sometimes that star intimidate people when they play in Dallas, but it is what it is. You know, we'll talk about that. But yeah, Dallas Cowboys, we coming for y'all this week. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't got nothing to play for really, except to try to play spoiler for us. But nah, bro, we ain't having that. We gonna put y'all in the grave. We gonna put y'all further in the grave, and hopefully y'all be buried for sure. I want y'all to beat Washington though. I usually don't go for the Cowboys to win in no games. You know what I'm saying? But y'all already eliminated, so I ain't got to worry about y'all as a threat. Except this week, maybe a threat perhaps of taking us a little bit longer to win the division. But I don't foresee that being the case. Jaden Daniels, he took advantage of the opportunity, man. Like we let him do what he wanted to do as far as rushing. No other rusher on the team had a chance. He was their number one rusher against us because we left some lanes open for him to go down and, you know, kind of have his way against us, and he did that. I mean, you know, we gotta own that. So I don't know how we stopped him last time, but whatever we did to stop him last time, we definitely got to bring that back, because last week was, you know, it was not something that we was characteristic of in the past. So in the future, we got to clamp back down and make sure we keep that dude in the pocket and try to make him beat us with his arm. He got a good arm too. Jaden Daniels has some pretty good drives he put together. You know, not all of them was pretty good, because sometimes we did stop him. We did have him throwing to the ground. We did have him doing what he did last time he played against us. But if I'm keeping it honest, you ain't gonna stop him all the time, especially when your defense is on the field as much as they were, because the offense simply couldn't move the ball so effectively. Again, we got 6 points out of 5 turnovers. That in itself is not even really heard of. Nobody really won the game, but we already know the context of the whole situation. I know the reason why we wasn't scoring is because we didn't have Jalen Hurts on the field. If we had Jalen Hurts on the field and he was playing healthy, man, we ain't even talking the same thing. I think it was going to be a body. Like I said, we was gonna put them dudes in a body bag. We was going to put them dudes in a blender. But we started to already. We had 2 drives, 11 plays with Jalen Hurts. Then, of course, to top it off with Kenny Pickett's touchdown. He had a touchdown to A.J. Brown. And actually, A.J. Brown was his number 1 target in that game, you know. And one time it was to a fault, because right after I think the drive we scored a touchdown, Kenny Pickett tried to go back to A.J. Brown, and he stared him down the whole time and threw it on the slant. And as you can see, it was picked off by Louisville. And Louisville, boy, if I'm gonna talk about him for a second, man, Louisville is a dog, man. Louisville, I wish we had him on our team. I don't know what Carolina was thinking by letting that dude go, because he was one of the best things they had. Now, if you're going to rebuild, I understand you getting rid of some of your really good players, some of your key players, but some players you just got to hold on to while you're rebuilding. That's one guy, in my opinion, they should have held on while they kept rebuilding. But maybe he wasn't playing as good last season. I didn't really follow him that much. I still haven't. But I do know, since he was with the Commanders, he's pretty good. Maybe he has something different for Louisville that he wasn't getting in Carolina. But I digress. I just want to talk about him for a second, because, yeah, I got to give it to him, man. When you see some good, you got to give it up. Well, even if it's the opposite, it's going to be a lot more to hold us than him. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles are ready to dominate when we see them again, if we see them again. I'm hoping they don't get to the playoffs, not because I'm scared of them, because I think that they wouldn't have beat us anyway. But I'm just hoping they don't get to the playoffs just so I can talk my shit against them. You know what I'm saying? Because they be talking a lot of head. Now, usually, like I said, I don't dislike no other team or organization more than I do the Dallas Cowboys. But they starting to work themselves up there. Like, they was, like I said, the last place in terms of who I disliked in our division. But I think them and New York Giants are right there the side. But the Dallas Cowboys still number 1 and the most hated rival that we have. Like I always say, I don't hate any of the Dallas Cowboys players, nor do I hate any player in the NFL, nor do I hate anybody, period. But I hate their organization. I hate their brand. I hate their colors. I hate their, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just hate their being a franchise type situation, because they in the way, and that's the reason why, because, you know, we ain't gonna never have no love for them as far as their organization. And I'm sure the feeling's mutual, and they probably take hate to the heart, whereas I don't. I just hate the organization. A.J. Brown dominated Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore had control a little bit at first. It seemed like he was stopping A.J. Brown from getting, you know, catches and completing catches a couple times, even one to the end zone, as I'm show you here. But as far as later on in the game, I think he got 3 PIs, and they were all legit. And you can see what I'm talking about. So check this one out here. Marshawn Lattimore was grabbing A.J. Brown's arm to stop him from catching the ball. How can you catch the ball? I mean, you can catch the ball one-handedly, but it's still pass interference if you're trying to stop him from using his other arm to catch the ball. And this play right here, Marshawn Lattimore was holding him around the waist, pulling him back while he was trying to run his route. And of course, that situation didn't fare too well for him. So if you're a Washington fan, you probably thought the refs was cheating, but trust me, they ain't gonna never cheat for the Philadelphia Eagles, not wanting to cheat for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think all the refs altogether, collectively, dislike the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not gonna say that there's not one that actually like us or that, you know, it's neutral, but I don't think none of them. I think it's all politics with all of them, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? I think it comes from upstairs when they tell them to throw the flags. I think that's where it really comes from. And he's probably a Cowboys fan. So if he's a Cowboys fan, of course, there is not going to be no fairness to the Philadelphia Eagles being, getting a fair shake. It's just not, unfortunately. But A.J. Brown, like I said, he did his thing against Marshawn. Marshawn Lattimore, for y'all Commanders fans, he is not the answer to stopping A.J. Brown. So let's stop it. Let's stop right there. Stop right there. He ain't the answer. All right. So you'll see going forward if you need to. I'm sure he'll be with y'all for about another year or two at least. So, unless y'all getting him for a rental for this season, I'm not sure what the contract look like for them. Don't really care. But I'm just letting y'all know that, as y'all can see, Marshawn Lattimore, the only way he's going to have a good game against A.J. Brown is to hold him and to impede him from catching the ball the illegal way. Because legally, A.J. Brown has some words for him, as you see right here. He was letting him know, man, you can't with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? A.J. Brown was talking this talk, though. And I love to see A.J. Brown talking this talk against that dude, man, because they actually thought that he was going to come in and be a real difference maker for him, but not so much for that. I'm not going to say Lattimore is a bum. He was pretty good with the Saints. I'm not going to say he's whack, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't enough. And if I'm being honest, ain't too many NFL cornerbacks is going to be able to hold A.J. Brown back, you know what I'm saying? Unless they hold him, you know what I mean? That dude is a pretty strong, massive man. Pause. So, you know what I'm saying? Nice try. On top of all the penalties, Marshawn Lattimore later on in the game will suffer a hamstring injury, which took him out of the game. And then St. Juice came in there, which we know St. Juice ain't got no juice against A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown did his thing. A.J. Brown did, like I said, drop a pass that really could have extended the drive for us. But I ain't going to harp on it. We're going to go to the next. I guess the elephant in the room was Brian Johnson, because he was chirping before last week. He was chirping talking about how, they're just a better team and all that stuff. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles made him eat all of those words, and to him, they were disgusting. Reason why? Because he dropped the ball twice. And if they kept him in the game, because I think they took him out of the game after a while, just like they had to take my boy Harris out last week, Najee Harris, but if he just stayed in the game, I think he'd have dropped more balls. But they had to put the 2-3 punch on us. I forgot the third guy's name. I know it was Rodriguez Jr. was one of them. I forgot the last guy's name, the third stringer. But they try to get a little something going, and it was stifled as well. The Philadelphia Eagles stopped the run, really, really effective every game, every week, just about. I'm hoping we keep that same energy right now, because Dowdle is actually having a pretty good season, even though he didn't start off that well. He's starting off pretty good right now. He's finishing off pretty good right now. So we have to do what we got to do to stop the Cowboys. But again, I digress. Brian Robinson, stop it, bro. If you want to get overjoyed about something you didn't participate in, which was to beat us, the Philadelphia Eagles, because you didn't participate, you actually helped us beat you. So you wasn't part of the better team, so you say, and they ain't the better team either. They played better. Things like I said, things was going their way pretty much throughout most of the game. But, the Philadelphia Eagles will bounce back. I have no doubt in my mind that we'll bounce back. We already in the playoffs. We already got the number 2 seed. Pretty much all we got to do is win at least one or two more games. I think there's only two games left. But one of those 2 games, I think we'll win both of them. But it all depends on what we're doing the last week. Again, I digress. So, Brian Robinson, like I said, stop it. We'll see you next time, and I'm sure you'll probably do the same thing. You're a pretty good running back, though. I'm not going to say you're a bum. I'm not going to say you can't run the ball. But you did have, and you have had in the past, case of the dropsies. You've been dropping the ball, and you kept the dropsies against us. So I want you to keep the ball on the ground so we can get it. As long as we get it, I'm fine with that. And speaking of that phantom roughing the passer, look at this right here, y'all. Roughing the passer? What is roughing the passer about this? What is even rough about this right here? The play was over. Yeah, I'll give you that. But people always fighting, pushing after the play's over. That don't usually cause no penalties. That cause 15 yards for the other team free. Come on, stop playing, man. These referees, man, they trash, bro. That's why I be trying to put them out there. You know what I'm saying? They might keep it up, but I want to let everybody know, for what it's worth, you know what I'm saying, that they, like, and that's not happening in every game, bro. I'm telling you, this is not happening in every game. It happens in some games sporadically, but this happened continuously, every week. I can't get enough. I got enough, really, but I get enough. I can't understand how, you know, this keeps happening, and y'all talk about the integrity of y'all game is so good. I just don't get it, bro. Whoever's on top, whoever is doing this right here and responsible for it, they gotta go, man. They gotta go. Y'all messing up something that's good. And as far as I'm concerned, oh, shout out to Philly, shout out to Joey Shakes, man. I know you probably never see this video, but shout out to Joey Shakes, man. He said the same thing I said. Like, I don't know how much more I can watch this right here. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for me being invested as an Eagles fan, I don't know how much more I can watch this right here. This is crazy, man. This is bananas. This is straight crazy. You know what I mean? And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson get ejected from the game for talking. Since when somebody, I mean, Brandon Graham, he said the same thing as well, but I've been said this right here. Brandon Graham would have lasted a season if it was because you can't ish talk to somebody. Come on, bro. They talk crap all game long, all week long, every single game throughout the season. Every team. In fact, there was some ish talking that was in his pile up right here. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't call it because guess what? It wasn't a reason why it wasn't a reason they should call a penalty. That's why. It wasn't a reason they should call a penalty. That's exactly what it was. And it wasn't a reason they should call a penalty or eject a player who ain't starting no fights. In fact, you see his helmet get knocked off his head right here. How does he get the penalty? Because of what he said? Come on, bro. What could he have said that bad? Bro, for real. Both of them was talking stuff back and forth to each other anyway. We got the penalty because of something that, if anything, should have been offsetting fouls. You know what I'm saying? But words, bro, what happened to sticks and stones, like old boy said? Real talk. What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the guy who's pushing his helmet off, if he ain't like what he's saying, he can turn around and walk away. Don't he have the ability to do that? Don't he have the ability to do that? Is all I'm saying. So, like I said, man, it's trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, there is no apologies that you need to put out there for the Philadelphia Eagles fans or nothing like that. I don't respect the referees. You know what I'm saying? What you did, you've been doing your whole career, and you ain't never got a flag on it until this game right here. It's funny how they don't see holding on 98 Jay Carter, but they see a penalty they can call against him. Make that make sense, like I said in the other video after the game. You know what I'm saying? How does that make sense that they can't see holding, and usually it's right in front of the quarterback, and they can see what happens right in front of the quarterback, because guess what? If you hit the quarterback late, like they said this was, then they're going to call it. You know what I'm saying? It was late, I'll say that, but so was this right here. This was a late call. This was a late call too. This was a late push too. And with no penalties called against the other team. That's what I'm saying, man. Just call it both ways. Don't be just calling it one way against the Eagles, man. I don't respect that, bro. I call it trash, and I don't respect it, man. For real. If they need some referees that do a really good job, put me in there. I got your back. You know what I'm saying? And even against the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm fair like that, to where even against my team, some of y'all might not believe it, and it's okay. I'm fair enough to say, boom, that flag was because it's right here, and I'll tell the player, hey, man, I don't see that. I don't call this flag. But since you do this right here, and I got a job to do, clean it up, man. Clean it up. But I definitely ain't call no flag because of something that somebody said. You can bet that one on any level. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's kids talking and playing games. You know what I'm saying? It's not sportsmanlike so much, but it's not a 15-yard penalty either, man. Special teams wasn't so special. I know I got a lot to unpack in this video, so I do appreciate y'all patience and checking out the whole video. If y'all seen the whole video, throw me the thumbs up. I want to see them. Throw thumbs up in the video if y'all watched the whole video. Special teams wasn't that special. You know what I mean? Brayton, man, I understand that sometimes he was kicking towards the wind, and the wind kind of like, controlled the ball a little bit to where he kicked it. The run backs, man, when his kickoff returns for the Washington Commanders, McCaffrey, he did his thing, man. He wasn't great in most of them, but this one right here, man, like, I don't understand how we just kind of like wet the bed on special teams. And Jake Elliott, since we talking about it, his kicks was, he made all except one. That one was crucial because we only lost by 3. Had that not been the case, we might have actually won the game again. There's so many variables that made us not win this game. And it's like, it was almost like we were not supposed to win this game. Like the referees had in their mind, like us dropping the ball uncharacteristically was part of it. Jake Elliott keep missing field goals. He didn't miss all of them. He did make some of them. So, you know, Jake, we're going to need you, bro. This is time where you get it together, man. I don't know what's in between the ears, but I'm glad you did hit one past 50 yards because you ain't did that all season long. But you missed like a 40-yarder, and like I said, it would have been big for us going forward if we'd actually made that happen. So, special teams, I need y'all to pipe down and make it happen because we need y'all out of the third element of this other game, other team, and we definitely need y'all to do what y'all got to do, man, from here on out. But since I'm speaking on CJGJ, that pick that he got, it sailed right to him. It was a beauty to see. If we could have capitalized on it, I think we might have capitalized on that one there. I'm not sure. I have to watch the game again. But that was, we did get that pick, CJGJ, before he went out the game, you know, and as you can see, before he went out the game, we were stopping things. We were shutting things down quite a bit on defense. And when he went out the game after half or whatever, you know, I think they put up about 21 points or something like that on us. Like I said, some guys are definitely needed to win games. And then I think they know that. So they got him out of there on some of the weak stuff. You know, you expect him to stop talking. This is what he's been doing all his career. So y'all should have been stopping that a long time ago, to nip that in the bud before that even happened. Jordan Davis has really been balling out. Jordan Davis is part of the reason, a big reason why our run stopping ability is what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? He's been stopping the ball carrier at a really good rate. So it's crazy to see him go out for a second. I was really alarmed at first when I seen him go out, and I was so glad that he was able to come back in. And he played pretty good. You know, we were still able to stop the run. We weren't able to stop Jaden Daniels, but I already talked about that. So Jordan Davis, if you don't get too much credit, you one of them unsung heroes for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I do appreciate your game, and I'm glad that you've been playing at a high level. This is probably your best year as a Philadelphia Eagle, and it's your third year, so the third time's a charm, right? Let's get the Super Bowl win so we can go ahead and you know, celebrate and pop it up. You know what I mean? Nolan Smith, like I said, them Georgia boys, Nolan Smith been doing his thing too. Nolan Smith represented, man. Represented, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like what you're doing out there. You know what I'm saying? Because this is second year, and you've been showing up and showing out. I didn't expect you to look this good in your second year because of what we saw in the first year, but I'm glad I'm seeing everything that we need to see going forward. I think you're going to be one-on-ones going forward, man, for real, if I'm being honest. We about to finish up here, but I want to talk about Slay. Slay's been tackling his butt off, man, this season. I think it's going to be his last season, so he's been laying it all on the line, and he's trying to get this chip. He's trying to win this Super Bowl chip for us, you know what I'm saying? So I'm here for it, you know what I'm saying? And my sister Jessica would say. And I think it would have been a good idea for us to use the screen plays, using the halfback, you know, that Saquon Barkley, on a halfback screens, and I think that would have did a lot more than what it was as far as us trying to run the ball, and it was, they had my boys Saquon Barkley pretty much held up for the most part. He had that one breakaway run, but other than that, they had him pretty much bottled up the whole game. And as you can see, you know, the Philadelphia Eagles stayed true to the run. I do appreciate that because that's one thing I've been harping about over the time of us having Saquon Barkley, and even last year, that we don't run the ball enough. But they were stopping him. They was doing everything to stop him. They had him they had him stack the box. Since they were stacking the box, like I said, what I would have done was seeing what the screen game looked like. You know what I'm saying? Because they was rushing in. You know what I mean? So catch them off guard with the screen, they'd have backed their asses up a little bit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. I can only talk about it after the fact. And I was saying that during the game, actually, that I'm trying to see what the screen game looked like with Saquon Barkley, because, you know, they keep stacking the box and they keep going in there for him. So put him on a real quick screen, boom. I think he'd have took it to the house at least one of them times. But again, he had to catch the ball, and that game was a case of the dropsies. So maybe he wouldn't have. But I give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably would have. And they'd have had to respect the screen and backed up a little bit, like I said. Reed Blankenship. That man come clutch in the end of the games, man. you don't want to throw his direction at the end of the game, but they still think he's sweet or whatever, so they still throwing his way. He catches the ball, and at that moment, I was like, that's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what we needed. We about to win this game, but I was still concerned because we was not able to really move the ball that effectively on offense. So, and we didn't, and we ended up giving the ball back, and that's all Jaden Daniels needed because he took the ball for the last drive of theirs, and we got the ball back with 6 seconds after the touchdown by Zacchaeus, who played for us last season. Zacchaeus, man, you know, he had a pretty nice game, man. I think one of the touchdowns, he had 2 touchdowns that game. So kudos to the Commanders, man. We'll see y'all again. I usually don't, you know, have too much hate towards y'all organization, but now it's starting to rise. It's starting to ramp up some. So with that being said, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and please keep tuning in to Platinum Eagle Podcast. I love y'all, all y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy. If y'all think somebody else would like the Philadelphia Eagles content, please share my videos as well and have them subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. It don't cost a dime, you know what I'm saying, to support your man. Platinum Eagle Podcast, we in the building. We out.